Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel, or welcome to the channel if you're new here. Today's build is one I've been working on for a little while now. I wanted a ship that was a little different looking than some of my other ships. I wanted it to be a single level with no ladders, and could hold its own on any difficulty level. After several reconfigurations, I came up with this. This is the Archangel. This is a Class C concept ship that functions as a long-range hunter-killer vessel, equipped with the latest particle beam weaponry, strong shields, a good grav drive, and a full crew capacity. The Archangel is designed for long-range missions deep into enemy territory. Now on this ship, we're using 4 of the SAE 5660 engines. This gives us a good balance between speed and maneuverability and ship mass. We've maxed the mobility at 100. Now we did have to sacrifice a little cargo room versus some of my other ships, but it still has a decent 2178 cargo capacity with 960 of it shielded. Plus we have some other bonus cargo on the ship that's not reflected in these stats. Now this is still a Class C ship, so you will need your piloting skill at rank 4 to fly it. You also want your Starship design skill at rank 4 and be at least level 60 to have access to all the parts. I would also recommend that you complete at least the first mission in the Vanguard quest line to have access to the weapons. So now that you know a little bit about the ship, let's get into it. For this build, we're going to need to stop at a few places for some unique parts. So today, we'll be visiting New Homestead, the Deimos Shipyard, Neon, the Red Mile, and then we'll be finishing our build at our outpost. This sounds like a lot of traveling, but really it's not that bad. Our first stop is New Homestead on Titan in the Sol system. We're actually going here to get our starter ship for this build. I usually use the Rambler from New Atlantis, but user Drerelia pointed out in the comments of my last video that the Discovery is less expensive as a starter ship. Once on the ground, head over to the ship technician and we'll see what he has for sale. And would you look at that? The Discovery is half the price of the Rambler. Looks like we have a new starter ship. Let's grab that and head to our next destination. Our next stop is a quick jump in the same system. We're heading over to the Deimos Star Yard. Once you have docked, head down the hall, to the left, and down the stairs. Talk to our Deimos salesperson and ask to view and modify your ship. We just need one piece from here, and that's the Deimos DS 40.2 Ares Bridge. So let's grab that. Now delete the other bridge and attach this one. Now that the ship is flyable, let's exit the builder and head to our next destination. Our next stop is in the Volai system, and we're going to Volai Alpha and landing on Neon. Once in the city, turn left and head over to the Stroud Eklund showroom. Enter the showroom and interact with the panel on the wall. Select the option to view and modify your ship. Now we're going to need a few things from here. We need our reactor, our engines, and a 2x3 empty mess hall hab. Pause the video here and let's get shopping. Once we have all our pieces, let's fit them on our ship. You can put the pieces anywhere as long as the ship is flyable in the end. Now you may have noticed we're using the Pinch 8A reactor versus the usual Pinch 8Z that we normally use. We're using this as it provides the highest hull stats out of all of the reactors. We did have to sacrifice a little system power, but it's a worthwhile trade-off. Now that our ship is flyable, exit the builder, and let's head to our next stop. Next on the list is the Red Mile. This is over in the Parima system on Parima 3. Make sure you packed your winter underwear because this planet is cold. Once on the ground here, head over to the building right in front of us. Once inside, head up the stairs and talk to the ship technician inside the office. We only need one thing from here, and that's our scan jammer. This little device gives us an extra chance to avoid scans when carrying contraband. The bonus stacks with shielded cargo as well, and you want the multi-frequency version. Once you have that, fit it on your ship on any open hook point. Once that's attached, exit the builder, and let's head to our last destination. Our final stop is your outpost. Mine's in the Schrodinger system on Schrodinger 3. You'll need a large landing pad at your outpost if you want to build ships there, so make sure you have at least that built. Head to your landing pad and up the stairs. Interact with the panel at the end of the ramp, and select the option to view and modify your ship. The rest of the parts are going to come from here. I'll put the list on screen. Pause the video here and let's get shopping. Now that we have all of our parts, let's move all the other parts we purchased off our ship and delete the rest. Here's a look at our final layout. Make sure you have everything before we continue. Now, before we get into the build, we're going to review a couple of the blending techniques that we're going to use in this build. If you're not a fan of these techniques or consider them cheating, don't worry, I'll show you how to modify this build so it doesn't use any of these techniques, so stick around for that at the end of the build. The first blending techniques we're going to use is one everyone should be familiar with. This is the flip technique. This is used when you want to take a piece and blend it together with another to create a new shape. For this, you'll need a piece with an open hook point and another piece that's either flippable or has a variant to it. Take your flippable piece and place it where you want to go. You'll see it turn red. Now just flip it once, then flip it again, and hit the cancel option. This will blend the piece into the other, creating a new shape. This works both on PC and Xbox. The other technique we're going to use is a drop-down duplication technique. Shout out to a commenter, and I apologize if I butcher this name, Duela, for bringing this up in my last video. This technique is used widely through the shipbuilding community to combine parts into a single space. It is often used to make microships. Now in this build, we're going to use this to combine the grav drive and the reactor together to form one unit. So let's demonstrate with those pieces. We're going to need a couple pieces for this. Our grav drive, our reactor, and 2 1x1 Habs. Now the first step is to put the reactor in place. Next, we're going to take our grav drive and place that above the piece we want to combine it with. Line it up so it's about as even as we can get. Next, stack the 1x1 Habs on top of each other. Now select both the grav drive and the bottom Hab. While hovering your cursor over the bottom Hab, click Duplicate. You will see both the Hab and the grav drive duplicate, and the bottom Hab will be green. Hit Accept. Now let's repeat that again. Select the bottom grav drive and then the bottom Hab and hit Duplicate again. You will see the grav drive now blend into the reactor. Now delete the 1x1 Hab stack and the extra grav drives that are not blended in with the reactor. Now you see you're left with a grav drive and a reactor that's combined into one space. Double click the structure to select all and then hit the option to edit and then hit Accept. This will merge this all together. And now we have a single space grav drive and reactor. The one trick with this technique is that the piece you are trying to duplicate needs to be duplicatable. So for example, if I tried to duplicate using the reactor as the piece I was copying, it wouldn't work because the reactor is not available at my outpost, therefore I cannot duplicate it. Now you can use this technique with multiple different pieces. So say you wanted to add the fuel tank into that same spot, you can. This can also be used on cargo holds to stack them together, giving you more cargo capacity in the same space. It's a fun technique that has several applications to it. So now that we've reviewed those techniques, let's get into the build. Now, as we go through this build, if there are sections that require any of these blend techniques, I'll put a notification up on screen. Just skip that section or that piece and pick up after that piece is attached. We're going to start by assembling the Hab section. Let's start by taking the 2x3 mess hall and moving that over to the open space. Next, select your 1x1 Habs and let's bring those over. These are going to attach to the side front hook points of our mess hall, one on each side. Next, take your 3x1 all-in-one Hab and attach that to the 1x1 on the right side. Now take the engineering bay and attach that to the other 1x1 Hab. Take one of the 2x1 workshops, and this will attach to the rear 2 hook points of the side of the ship. Do the same on the other side of the ship. Next, take your captain's quarters and attach that to the front of the all-in-one Hab on the right side of the ship. Now take your control station and attach that to the front of the engineering bay on the other side of the ship. This completes our Hab layout. It's a fairly simple layout, but effective for a single layer ship. Now, if you don't want to decorate the empty Habs, And I highly recommend that you explore that part of shipbuilding because it opens up the configurations for you. You can replace these Habs with just the regular versions. The only one I would change is replacing the empty workshop on the right side of the ship with an armory Hab. All the others, you can use the pre-decorated versions. Next, we're going to attach those nose cap C pieces since they're sitting right here. They're going to go on the front arms of the ship. The straight part should be facing inwards. Now let's move the ship over just to give us a little room. Let's grab our bridge and attach that. This is going to go on the middle front hook point of the mess hall in between the arms. Next, take two of the landing gears and bring those over. We're going to flip these till they are the squared shaped versions, and then they'll be attached to the front of our 2x1 workshop, 2 on each side. Now we're going to take the 2 remaining, and these will go on the back of our 2x1 workshop. Remember to flip the piece till it's the squared shape. Next, let's take our landing bay, flip it so it's facing the opposite way, and bring that to the other side of the ship. This is going to attach to the side front hook point of our 2x1 Hab. Now let's place the docking bay in the same spot on the other side of the ship. Next, take a nose cap C piece and attach that to the front of the docking bay. The straight part should be against the landing gears. Now let's do the same on the other side of the ship. Now we're going to take our Nova cowling piece, flip it so it's facing the other way, and this is going to attach to the front of our landing gears. Attach another cowling on the other side of the ship. Next, take a Stroud Cap B and attach this behind the docking bay. Now let's place another one on the other side. Make sure you flip it so the straight side is facing inwards. Now we're going to take another Nova cowling piece. Change the variant so it's facing backwards and flip it once. This is going to go just behind the piece we just placed on the left side of the ship. Now let's do the same on the other side of the ship. Let's move the ship to give us a little bit more room to continue building. Let's flip to the back of the ship and work on the rear a little bit. The first thing we're going to place is our fuel tank. So let's grab that and bring that over. This is going to go behind the 1x1 Hab. The bottom of the fuel tank should be even with the bottom of the Hab. Next, bring over the reactor, and this will go in the same spot on the other side of the ship. Now, if you're doing the alternate ship build, put the grav drive here instead and skip the next step. Now let's bring our grav drive over, and we're going to use our duplication technique to blend this into the reactor. First, we're going to line up the grav drive above the reactor. We want to get it as close to squared off as we can. We also want to make sure it's as close to the reactor as possible without it being red, so adjust the height accordingly. Now that we have that lined up, let's grab a 1x1 Hab. And then duplicate that so we have a stack of them. Now we're going to select our grav drive and then select our bottom 1x1 Hab. Hold down the control key on PC to select multiple parts, or use, I believe it's RB on Xbox. Once the two pieces are highlighted, select the copy option. You will see both pieces duplicate. Hit accept to finish. Now repeat that once again, select the bottom grav drive and the bottom 1x1, select copy, and then accept. you will see the bottom grav drive is now merged with the reactor. Now delete all the 1x1s and then delete the top 2 grav drives, leaving behind the one that's blended with the reactor. Lastly, double click on the ship to highlight it, hit the edit option, and then hit accept. Now the grav drive and the reactor are in the same spot, and we can continue on with our build. Next, we're going to place our cargo holds. Select all 3 of them and bring those over. We're going to flip them and place them on the rear hook points of our mess hall hab. Now, if you're doing the alternate ship build, do not place the middle cargo hold. Save that for later. Next, we're going to place our engines. We're going to place one of them on the rear landing gear. Now place the other one on the landing gear on the other side of the ship. Now place the last 2 on top of the cargo holds that are on the ends, one on each side. Next, select the 4 Tayo cowlings and bring those to the back of the ship. Select one and change the variant so it's facing backwards. Let's attach that to the top rear hook point of the fuel tank. Now place another one on our grav drive on the other side of the ship. Now take another cowling piece, change the variant, and then flip it so it's upside down. Place that under the cowling on our fuel tank. Now let's do the same on the other side of the ship. Next, bring over your 2 Deimos spine pieces. Take one, flip it, and attach that over the center cargo hold. Take your other spine and place that on the top rear center hook point of the mess hall hab. Next, grab your scan jammer and bring that over. Attach that to the rear spine. If you're doing the alternate build, place the scan jammer on the cockpit on the center hook point. Now bring over the shield generator and attach that just behind the cockpit. Next, take a Deimos cowling and let's attach that in front of one of our center engines. Take another one and attach that to the other engine. Next, take one of the Nova Cowling 2L pieces, and we're going to change the variant so it's the middle piece. Take that and place it in front of our grav drive. Let's take another piece and change it to that center piece again, and this is going to go in front of our fuel tank on the other side. Take the last 2 of those cowling pieces, and let's attach those in front of the pieces we just placed. Now we just have the last 2 cowling pieces to place. If you're going with the alternate build, skip this step. Now take a cowling piece and let's slide that into the corner next to the cockpit. The flat side should be facing away from the cockpit. Now flip the piece twice and hit cancel to blend it in. Let's do the same on the other side of the ship. Next, we're going to add the portholes. We're going to place 3 on each arm, starting at the front. The last 2 are going to go on either side of the shield generator. Now the last thing we need to place is our weapons. First, we need to add the equipment plates. Place one on the landing gear just in front of our 2x1 Hab. Place another one just behind the 2x1 Hab. On second thought, let's move that front one back just one space. Now let's repeat that on the other side of the ship. Now we're going to add the weapons. First, let's place the auto turrets on the equipment plates we just placed. I put the rear two facing backwards and the front two facing sideways. If you want to face them differently, that's totally up to you. Next, we're going to add our PBO 175s. These are going to go on the outside Nova cowling pieces, one on top and one on the bottom. And let's repeat that on the other side of the ship. Lastly is our obliterators. We're going to place two on the top sides of the cockpit. The next two are going to go on the top Nova cowlings. The last two will go on the Nova pieces next to the bridge. Don't place these if you're doing the alternate build. And now everything is assembled. Now I said I would show you how to modify the build so you don't use any of the blend techniques. This is an easy modification to make as the ship really does not rely heavily on these techniques. Now if you've been following my notes and warnings, you should have the reactor, an extra cargo hold, and two obliterators left to place. You can delete the other two cowling pieces and the extra Nova cowling and that last spine piece. We're not going to be using these. You will also need to purchase two Deimos bumper 4 pieces. Now first, let's take the reactor and place that in the middle between the two engines. Next, take that cargo hold and place that behind the grav drive under the Tayo cowling piece. Now copy the cargo hold and place that on the other side behind the fuel tank. Now let's take the Deimos bumpers and attach them on either side of the cockpit with the slope pointing towards the cockpit. And the two obliterators that we have left will attach to the Nova cowlings next to the PBO 175s. And that finishes the assembly, and you did not use any blend techniques. You will end up losing about 3 mobility on this version, but you also gain some cargo space. Now that everything's assembled, we need to assign our weapons. As usual, put the auto turrets in the W2 spot, and assign the others wherever you want. Now let's rename the ship. And we know we need to swap out those factory colors to something a little bit more fitting. I'm going with a white, gold, and blue color scheme here. And now our ship is finished. And here we have the stats before the skill and crew bonuses apply. And here are the stats after those bonuses apply. Now let's go take a tour of our new ship. Now we can see the ship sitting on our landing pad. The ship sits really low to the ground, which is kind of what I wanted, but it's still a big ship. Let's head around to the side to our landing bay. Again, this ship uses custom empty Habs for its layout. I've decorated it already off camera. If you want access to all the decorations you see on the ship, make sure you rank up your outpost engineering skill to at least rank 3 and complete all the decoration research projects at your research terminal. We enter into the ship right into our crafting area. We have all the crafting benches set up. We even have a desk if we wanted to wait and skip time on a planet. Through this door, I've converted the engineering bay into a control room. This would be the main control area of the ship. Through this door is our storage area. This is actually what gives this ship a ton of extra storage. Each one of these silver crates can hold 150 units of inventory, and there are 37 of them, so it's an extra 5,550 units of storage. I also have lock boxes on the shelves and safes on the wall. These give me an extra 610 cargo space as well. The downside is this inventory is not accessible for crafting. I'd recommend storing all the extra stuff in here and the resources in the ship's cargo. Now let's head back out and through our 1x1. And now we reach the center module of the ship. And you know, I had to put some shameless branding on the wall. This is our crew lounge. We have a nice couch with some gaming tables for the crew. We have plenty of TVs in this room. We have a drink area tucked in over here. And through this door is the captain's office. I put in these displays so I can show off some of the items I've collected in my travels. Through this door, I turn this into a meditation type room. I got some plants and some art on the wall. Through this door, and straight through to the other side, we come to our armory area. I put more display shelves here, and we have a full armory with weapon displays on both walls and our spacesuit collection. This is also where our ship docker comes into. Through this door, we have our crew quarters. I didn't have to do much to this one. The beds are still there with the empty versions of this Hab. I just added some rugs, a table for them to eat, a fridge, and a weight bench at the end. Through this door, we've come to the captain's quarters. I've added a desk and some art, a decent sized bed and a TV here, and we have a nice little lounge area with another TV on the wall. Now let's head back out to that center Hab. Heading to the bridge, we have a little art gallery. And through this door, we have our bridge. I added the bounty board in the bridge as I thought it would be the best place for it. Otherwise, this is just a stock Ares bridge. I've seen some people do some decorations in here, but I don't think it really needs it. And that's the end of the video. Please hit like and subscribe to the channel, and click the bell icon to get notified when I upload new videos. I'm Team Scorpio, and I'll see you in the next video.